We only have. You may start now, Chair.
Good evening, everyone. I call this meeting of the Governor's Office of Community Initiatives for the Middle Eastern American Affairs Commission to order at exactly 6:04 p.m. Eastern on July 24th, 2025. So we will now conduct roll call. Since some of our commissioners are new, as I call your name, I please ask everyone to respond with present. And if you could share a brief introduction, mainly including your name, your associated background, and what community or county you represent. So I'm going to start off from the list of registrants for this public meeting. So I'll just go in order of what I have in front of me. So Commissioner Amal, the floor is yours.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Amal Ali. I am originally from Egypt and I am a professor at Salisbury University. My area of expertise is urban and regional planning. So I am this planner who go and improve the quality of life for people. Like we give them whatever they need. They need housing, they need jobs, they need a healthy environment. So I'm hoping I can use my area of expertise to help the people of the Middle East who live here in the United States. So if you have any question, you can ask me. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Amal. Next, Commissioner Aisha Gulistan, or Dr. Gulistan.
Hey, Aisha is fine. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and good afternoon or good evening. Nice to see everyone again on the commission. I live in Howard County and have been here for the last 11, 12 years. I have, my parents are Pakistani and I was raised in Abu Dhabi, UAE. So I have representation from a lot of those places in terms of I think, and I've been part of this commission now for a year and a half, so it's nice to see everyone, and of course, it's always nice to meet the new folks as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Aisha. Next, Commissioner Gunai, you have the floor.
Hello, everyone. This is Janai Evinch. I live in Montgomery County. I'm a lawyer in Washington, D.C., and I represent the Turkish American community of Maryland.
Thank you, Commissioner Gunai. Commissioner Ronnie Rosenthal, you have the floor. Actually, we have that's one absent. So I believe we got, I don't see Ronnie on here. So we'll mark her as absent. So Commissioner Athar Bayoumi, you have the floor.
Hello, everyone. My name is Athar Bayoumi. I'm originally from Egypt, and I live in Howard County for the last 25 years. And my expertise is early childhood education. And I'm the co-chair of our Education and Health Committee for the Commission with Dr. Aisha.
Thank you, Commissioner Bayoumi. Commissioner Alat Wafa, or Vice Chair Commissioner Alat Wafa, you have the floor.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Alat Wafa. I am also another attorney on the call, labor and employment attorney. I'm in-house at a company called Cummins, an Indiana-based company, and now Vice Chair of the Commission.
Wonderful. Thank you, Commissioner Wafa. Next, Commissioner Susan Grossman, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mona. I'm Rabbi Susan Grossman, who is Rabbi Emeritus at Beth Shalom Congregation. I'm interfaith leader. I have lived in Israel and been active in the peace movement, trying to bring peace to the Middle East here and over there in many ways, and have been an interfaith leader here in Howard County for almost 30 years. I am the co-leader of our interfaith programs working group, and my co-leader, I think, just joined. It was Amal, and we're active in, which you're going to hear a little later about some of the things that we are active in. So, assalamu alaikum and shalom aleichem to all.
Okay, wonderful. And then I see also Commissioner Mohammed Khalil. Do you want to take the floor?
Good evening, everyone. I reside in Montgomery County for the last 10 years. I'm an accountant. I run an accounting department for a real estate developer. So I guess that's my expertise. And I help out with a small local mosque here in Bethesda, and another organization does it's like a think tank on the American Muslim community. So it's about it. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Khalil. And then we have Commissioner Ronnie Rosenthal as well. You have the floor just to say present for roll call and share a little background of where you reside.
Of course. Hi, everybody. Sorry, I'm late. My name is Ronnie. I'm also in Montgomery County. I'm at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, UMBC. Yeah, happy to be back. See everybody.
Wonderful.
Hi.
Thanks, everyone. So a quorum has been established. We will, however, now suspend Robert's Rules of Order so that we could welcome Reverend and Executive Director Larry Walker. He is in transit and squeezing us in between meetings, so I want to hand over the floor to him.
If I may just very quickly introduce myself.
Oh, sorry, Amar. Oh,
Just
sorry.
to declare president. Don't worry about it.
Commissioner Amar, you have the floor. Thank you. Thank you.
Don't worry. I'm present. I represent Montgomery County. I am Syrian American. I work for the World Liberty Congress, which is a global pro-democracy movement, and I am really happy to be back here. That's it.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. And just as a little housekeeping reminder for these meetings, let's make sure to register at least 24 hours before, so we have correct list for roll call. So I will go back to suspending Robert's Rules of Order and hand it over to Executive Director Walker.
Well, thank you, Chair Kishore and team. I am very excited about where we are. Dr. Brown and I had an opportunity to be with the governor yesterday morning, and given the environment that we're in nationally and internationally, Maryland continues to be a beacon of hope and light and unity, and I just so much get energized by our governor and his steadfast commitment to inclusivity and to all voices mattering, and to recognizing the value that all of you bring as volunteers with your various gifts and skills that you bring to this work. And so just want to thank you all, because we know that it is, sometimes it can seem to be tireless work, but it's important work, and we're very grateful to each of you for what you bring. And I'm just really excited about where we are and what we can do. I would also just want to remind you, I had an opportunity to meet with Mona. It seems like 6 months ago now, but it was, I don't know, maybe a month or two. Yeah, but just kind of sharing some, sharing vision, sharing opportunities, and really want to encourage you all to also reach out to your communities, your connections. As ambassadors for the governor, we're really depending on each of you to reach out in your communities and invite people in to partner in the work. And remembering that you don't all have to serve on 3 or 4 committees. As long as you have a chair and maybe even a vice chair of a committee, you can have community members working with you, especially people with expertise in an area, but you can have community members working with you, and the committee is bringing a recommendation back to this body to vote and approve what we move forward. But it also allows us an opportunity to really broaden the net and expand our reach to include more people in the kind of work that we want to do for all of Maryland. And the governor is hyper committed to his mission to leave no one behind. And so I just wanted to jump on here and tell you that the governor has a tremendous amount of confidence in this leadership team and in this entire team, I shall say, and in this entire team. And we're really looking forward to partnering with you to do some really important things here in the state of Maryland. And as I have traveled and I'm hearing from the governor as he's traveling, it's not many states have ethnic commissions like we do, and not many states have commissions that are literally able to do things and bring voice and bring voice to legislation and policy and connect in the way that we are. And so I just want to thank you all. Dr. Brown has done a fantastic job in his time here, his short, I guess it's just over 2 years here on the team. So he's here to help you and support you in any way. And again, I just wanted to jump on real quick to thank you all. I know that going through the process with the I'll call it a reboot with the new executive order was for all of us, it was a journey. There was a lot of things that, in hindsight, I wish we could have communicated differently and better. But that's yesterday, and we're moving on. All our teams are in place now, and we're moving forward. And so I just appreciate each and every one of you. And Chair Kishore, I just want to again thank you for your time and your commitment to this work. And we're here to support you in any way. That's it for me.
Thank you, Larry. Appreciate you squeezing us in.
All right, Dr. Brown, I'm going over to your next event.
I appreciate you doing the work.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. Okay, great. So we will return back now to Robert's Rules of Order and move along on the agenda. So the agenda for today's meeting has been circulated in advance. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Hearing none, may I have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented? I'll need a motion and a second.
I move to adopt the agenda as presented. This is Meaa Wapa.
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Rosenthal. It has been moved and seconded that we adopt the agenda as presented. All in favor, please raise your virtual hands or physical hands. And then Cheryl, if you could call out the A's. Okay.
Unanimous.
Unanimous.
Oh, you're on mute, Cheryl. She's talking.
Sorry about that. All is in favor.
Wonderful. The motion carries and the agenda is adopted. Next item of business, the minutes from the April 7th and April 15 meetings, or May 15 meetings, have also been shared by Cheryl to the commission via email this past Sunday. Does anybody have any corrections to either of those two sets of minutes? Just calling out that those minutes are an abridged representation, and then we also publicly post the recordings for public access as well on our website. Okay.
Commissioner
Grossman had her hand up.
Grossman has her hand up. Yeah.
Oh, Commissioner Grossman.
It must be the journalist in me. I always try to read the minutes very carefully, and as Cheryl knows, I'm usually the one that's correcting the minutes, and I just got them like a couple of minutes ago. So there's a way legitimately to postpone that vote. Unless someone else has read through it and knows it's okay. So has anyone else read the minutes?
I believe, Dr. Brown, we can suspend the vote for the minutes if that is your motion, Commissioner Grossman, to suspend the vote.
To postpone it.
Yes, okay, then you would just say, I make a motion to suspend the vote on the minutes.
Suspend it? What does that mean? It never happened, or it'll just happen at the next?
Postpone, sorry, postpone, not suspend, postpone.
Okay, so I make a motion to postpone the reading of the minutes, which will happen either at the end of this meeting if we get a chance to go through it, or at the next meeting, whatever works for people. Is that too ambiguous?
You have to give us the time.
Okay,
You
so
make the motion,
I'm already seeing a mistake, so I'm gonna recommend that I'm gonna present a motion that we postpone the vote on the minutes until next meeting, to allow for time for revisions.
Okay, great. Do we have the second on that motion?
I second that.
Okay. So then the motion to postpone till the next commission meeting for reviewing and approving the minutes is passed. Okay.
Can I add a note of personal privilege?
Be voted on.
I would love someone else in addition to me.
Before you do it, Doc, you have to vote on the passing of the postponement of next meeting. You need a vote.
Oh, I thought we did that.
No, we need a 2/3 vote, I believe.
Yeah.
So
now it's all of it.
yeah, so I put forward the vote for the motion to postpone the approval of the meeting minutes. Can everyone who approves raise your hand virtually or in real life? And then Cheryl, if you could tell us the count.
I have almost all in favor, except for Commissioner. Oh, all is in favor now.
Wonderful. So the motion carries.
Thank you.
Commissioner Grossman, you have the floor. You had a personal privilege.
Right. So it's a sort of an announcement. Point of personal privilege is to invite an additional commissioner to be a regular reader of the minutes beforehand from another committee, who can just catch anything that we miss. And maybe one of the chairs or vice chairs will be doing that now, which would be wonderful also.
Just for clarity, Commissioner Grossman, do you mean outside of our commission?
No, I mean, it seems that I'm the only one that's reading through and making corrections, and it would be nice if there is another set of eyes, either the chair and co-chair or co-chair, or somebody else from a different circle of committees.
Thank you, Commissioner Grossman. Cheryl, you have the floor.
Yes, how the process is going right now, Commissioner Grossman, I have submitted the minutes to Dr. Brown for his review. After his review, then I have submitted it to Chair Kishore. And I'm not sure if I also sent it to Vice Chair Wafa as well. I cannot remember off the top of my head for their approval. So that's the steps we were taking before I submitted it to the whole commission for their review and, for them to review before the commission meeting.
Were the old minutes also reviewed in that way?
Yes, to a degree, yes. Yes, ma'am.
One thing I just want to reiterate that I said a little while ago is these are abridged meeting notes, so they are not one-to-one representation of the meetings. That's why we, in addition, have the recordings and provide the video link to the recordings on our website. So I think, Cheryl does in advance provide the meeting minutes, and I encourage everyone that in the time, I know Commissioner Grossman, we didn't get it in advance this time around, but going forward, I think we should definitely all have it in advance and be able to, prior to meetings, please feel free to raise any glaring edits, and I believe we could then circulate those and make them in time for commission meetings.
That would be great. Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay. So next on the agenda, I'd now like to offer a few brief remarks for the chair's report. So first off, I want to thank everyone to just being here. We are all volunteers, and I'm probably the first person to say that, and it's not going to be the last time you hear me say that. Just even making the commitment to be here and participate in these conversations is valuable. We know everyone is immensely busy. And so I really don't take lightly the transition that we now have gone through with, changes to our composition on the commission and the changes to the leadership. And I'm completely honored, as Larry Walker said, I feel wrapped by the support of GOSI and the administration to take on this chairpersonship or chairmanship, or however you want to say it, chairwomanship. And I definitely don't take that lightly. I think when I think about, where we were at the start a year and a half ago for the majority of us, we were babies. We really were going into this with a brand new start. And even GOSI itself, was laying down the bricks as we were going along with the new administration. And I think of the past year and a half truly as our training period. We still got things accomplished, and that's a huge feat because I think we were just learning how to swim, if you will. And when I think about what I want to look ahead about for this commission, it's very much the reason why we were even all selected to be on here. We already have connections into our own communities, and we have strengths we bring to this commission. And I don't want anybody to feel like they're stretching beyond what is already a strength of theirs. And if anything, I want all of us to feel empowered that we're contributing, that we're feeling heard and safe, and that we're getting out of this commissioner experience equally, if not more, what we're putting into it. I think many of us as volunteers put so much into things without thinking about what we get out of it. And just me personally, I want to get out of this a sense of open thinking, much greater connection to the wider diaspora throughout the state for the Middle Eastern American community. And I also am seeking to just have community among you all. And I think we're all coming into this with different objectives. And I just want to say that both Alette and I are here to really match what you want from this experience with the next few years. And for many of us, when we joined the commission, we signed up for a 4-year commitment. But with the new executive order that kicked off in January, we're actually on this longer than many of us originally anticipated. So it is a commitment, and I don't want folks to take it lightly either. One thing I did want to share is that there are things that are, going to be a little bit different between prior leadership and myself, of course, and Alette. For one, I really want to get us a little bit more on the ground. I think there's a lot of opportunity to do show and tell and showcase our successes at a higher level with the administration. But fundamentally, I want us to be in community, in our counties, already going to events and making them aware that GOSI even exists and being the ear on the ground for what issues we're hearing. And as I've spoken with others within the GOSI administration, Mr. Yancey, Dr. Brown, Larry Walker, there's sort of 3 things that I've heard as what will be deemed as success from an external outlook perspective. Number 1 is, are we raising issues that are a real-time concern for our communities? I think we all know what issues there are, but we need to get a little bit more systematic and organized about how we raise them. Number 2, events. And events is something I think we have done, but we need to think more about what we want out of them. And we're going to have a bit more of an open discussion later today about events. And then 3 is what I've heard being described as infrastructure. Are we leaving the state and this commission better than when we got it? And what I mean by that is, are there sustaining programs we're putting in place? Education programs, scholarship programs, or funds, or establishing heritage months? Are there things that we're doing that are going to live on well beyond our term? And I think we've been grappling at some of those. Again, I really just want to tighten us up, really focus on our initiatives in a more coordinated fashion. And coordinated is Alette's term, which I'm stealing because I love it. So we really have many things we could be doing, but I don't want this to be overwhelming. And, please forgive me if, in the beginning, I'm a little bit more regimented than you would like. Hopefully this becomes second nature to me, like the Robert's Rules of Order, and we're all a bit more relaxed about it going forward. But that sort of takes me to the next item on my report, which is meeting protocols. So one of the things I want to call out is GOSI as a whole is requesting that when we're in session, we try as much as possible to be on camera. And we understand, people take bathroom breaks, people have to attend to kids or grab a bite to eat. So that doesn't mean you have to be on camera the whole 2 hours, but we want folks to be focused. So just, be mindful of that. Additionally, I'll be guiding folks a little bit more to follow Robert's Rules of Order. There's some great cheat sheets out there that I'll share following this meeting. I recommend it's useful for me on other boards I'm on. Hopefully it's useful for everyone. And this really becomes something that's educational for us that we could take to other organizations. And then the last order of business on my report is just regarding emails. So I want to remind everyone that if you do not have a separate email designated for commissioner work, I highly recommend you do create one. Again, just sending out the reminder that, you know, anything that's deemed commissioner work on email can be made available to the public or could be in the future audited. So that's why it's a strong encouragement from myself and GOSI and everybody that you have a separate email account for commissioner work. So great. So that's the end of my chair report. At this time, I'd like to invite any remarks or questions on that report. Thank you. Okay, we will now continue. Since we already spoke to Larry, we will hear updates from our standing committees. So I call on the leads for the Education and Health Committee.
See. Hi, everyone. So I want to start off by talking about the Health and Education Committee members. I think there were 9 of them last I checked, but if everybody can please sign up on the sheet again, and especially the new members, if you're interested, we would love to have you. It's an honor to be serving on this committee as a chair, and I'm extremely thankful to our vice chair, Athar. She's not able to talk too much right now because her puppy is not feeling well, so she's also taking care of them. So she is not able to speak, but we wanted to share some updates with all of you. I also wanted to say hello and thank you to Cheryl and Dr. Brown, who we haven't seen in a while, so it's nice to see you guys in person. So I'll just give a brief overview of when the subcommittee was formed, and it was formed end of January, and we held our first meeting end of February with the committee members. It was at that committee meeting where we reviewed Governor Westmore's vision for health and education, and the committee members voted on initiative to help build cultural awareness in educational institutions as one of our initial tasks, or I guess how you would say top priority. Specifically, with the rest of the meetings, we thought of how the commission could assist in fostering a respectful dialogue that cultivates a culture of conversation across difference, and especially in our educational institutions where we felt that it would be very helpful. To that end, commissioners who are in Howard County then started engaging with the Howard County Public School System. Myself, Rabbi Susan, Commissioner Athar, and former Commissioner Laura then started working with the central team of Howard County school systems, and we were able to meet with them on a regular basis where we discussed how we could initiate something that would help improve student-on-student harassments and help teachers deal with issues that are hard in terms of contentious issues. So to that end, we were able to talk to them about a reflective structured dialogue model that we told would be able to help assist their schools in handling these type of contentious issues in ways that would actually bridge these differences and could help them navigate these difficult moments more with curiosity, compassion, and empathy, and also thereby creating a caring and respectful school community. They were very receptive to this idea and wanted us to give them a live demonstration of how this model of our reflective structured model would work. And to that end, the committee then, myself, Rabbi Susan, and Athar were able to give them a live demo this past June 18th. It was extremely well received, and they plan to possibly do a pilot program in their schools. And this is where we stand. We are continuing to stay very engaged with the Howard County Public School System, and we really hope that they will adopt this model, and we're looking forward to hearing more from them. I also want to use this time now to have Rabbi Susan also share what else we have been doing in terms of this demo. Thank you.
Thank you, Aisha and Athar. This past week, we want to thank Aisha for hosting a number of the commissioners who were able to attend to her gorgeous home, and with lots of delicious goodies to experience the smallest little taste of what this reflective structure dialogue style is about. It really was just like maybe 10% of what the demo, not even 10% of what the demo was that we did with Howard County Public Schools. But it gives you like the smallest taste, and we're happy to do a bigger opportunity for, Greg Yancey was able to join us. Larry Walker's left, I think, right? But we were thinking of maybe doing it with some other commissions, and we were going to follow up with Dr. Brown about opportunities for doing that, to bring this model, because it might help us also make stronger connections with some of the other commissioners and identify issues that we can work on together. So that's where that project is, and we are, most of the Howard County Public School staff has been away in July, and we're looking forward to them getting back to us at the end of July so we can work on additional steps. We have a strong relationship here in Howard County with this individual, John Saruf, who's the head of Essential Partners that teaches this model. They're very active in schools around the country, have never done interfaith and inter-ethnic programs in schools. Howard County Courageous Conversations was the first example of an interfaith program that they were involved with. So they learned as much from us as we learned from them. And because we are pace setters, he's very excited to work with us and has offered enthusiastically to help fundraise for supporting this program if the public schools want to move forward with it. And then our goal would be, if after we pilot in in whatever settings they want to do in Howard County, obviously expand it in Howard County and then pilot it. We were briefly talking on Sunday, possibly in Montgomery County as another county that would be open to that. So I don't know if we need to go into any more details, but that's where we are, and we're hoping by September, or our September meeting, which I think is our next meeting, to have more details.
Thank you for the update to the Education and Health Committee. Are there any questions or comments from commissioners?
Yeah, I have a question.
Oh, Commissioner Amel, you have the floor.
Okay, so which level of schools do you focus on? This question for Athar and Rabbi Susan.
Do you want me to take that, Aisha?
Sure. So, Amal, we have asked them they're going to be starting this model with the teachers first, and our hope is at least middle school and high school students for right now.
Okay. I'm hoping you will go to elementary schools, but at that point, you should involve the parents. Because if the kids have problems with each other, more likely it's coming from the parents.
Right. We did one of the longer term projects is to involve the school communities, which include the parents, because you're absolutely right. You know, you have to learn at home in some ways to hate, right? There's a line about that in South Pacific, I think. So.
But definitely this is great work, and I hope we can apply it in other counties also. So great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Amel. Any other discussion or questions?
I'd add one more thing. This model, once we learn, be more adroit in it, larger numbers of people being adroit in it, is transferable to other conversations. So we're focusing on schools because of the trauma that our Muslim and Jewish students are experiencing in terms of harassment. But this is also a model that would be very helpful in community conversations about a variety of issues that our commission in particular is concerned about.
Great. And then Dr. Brown, quick question. Do we need to take a vote for adopting the reports?
We don't. We do need them submitted so we can put them up for record for archives. So if one of you can write something up briefly, send it in so we can have it for archives because this is a public.
Great. And if one of the things I forgot to mention, to take the floor back for a minute, is another meeting protocol I wanted to call out is I know many of us are not on Google for email or use Google Drive. So I would like us to start using email as a channel of record more consistently. And for reports, if folks want to, and this is what I would prefer to be done, you could send your committee reports to me and I will consolidate them into one document to report out. Okay. Thank you, Chair Gulistan, for that update. Next, I'm going to call on Alette for local engagement and inclusion committee update.
So Amar and I are co-leading this committee, and I have to apologize because we have not had many updates since our first meeting, which was really, I think, productive and successful a couple months ago, but unfortunately certain life circumstances put me behind. But we are going out now that I think we have 8 people listed. Yes. And with all the commission changes, like now that it's settled, I'd like to set up a follow-up meeting in the coming few weeks, in this coming month. And I'll send out a doodle, whatever it's called, I think a doodle calendar, to see what works for everyone, so that we can pick up where we left off, because we had talked about focusing on 3 priority areas aligned with the governor's priorities, which were creating safer communities, desirable state for all residents, and connecting Marylanders to opportunities and each other. And one of the things we had hoped to do is to start moving with the focus groups within each county to really connect with the community, but also thinking about whether it's a focus group or just presenting and engaging with our existing communities in a way that makes sense, introducing the commission and hearing their concerns, etc., in a different form. That's okay too. We'll talk about what makes sense. One of the things that I've done in the meantime, though, is I connected with Dr. Brown and requested essentially materials to the extent that GOSI has some sort of like slide deck or something to introduce ourselves as ethnic commission members, and we can customize it to our specific commission. And I propose that so that we have a consistent message to whomever we're going to as commissioners, that we're able to present who we are, what we're expected to do, and then how we can help that the community. And I propose that all commissioners use this, not just our commission, because again, I think it just unifies our voice and our how we present to the greater community. So I don't know if you sent that yet, Dr. Brown, but if not, if you could send that to me, and then I will share that with the group, and we'll go from there. So keep a lookout for a meeting. And Amar, I don't know if you have anything else to add.
Thank you very much. No, you've actually made a very good presentation. We haven't really made much of a progress, but we will definitely, now that we are relaunching, we are definitely going to move ahead with the few projects that we had in mind. I think your idea for having this standardized way of introducing ourselves is very important, because now we're improvising, but I think it will really help us and avoid any misunderstanding of the future if we have something that's approved already by GOSI, that's consistent with their standards, so we can use it to introduce ourselves whenever we go on an outreach trip or activity. So I think that's a very excellent suggestion, and we should be having this meeting soon. Looking forward to your doodle.
Great. Thank you, Commissioners Ella and Amar. Thank you for the update. Are there any questions or comments from commissioners? Okay, we can continue to our next agenda item, which is working group updates. Just one thing I wanted to share prior to hearing from our working groups is another way that we have been, Ella and I, along with Dr. Brown, have been thinking about being more effective is through leveraging these working groups to be more of project-based task forces. So I do want to remind everyone that as we close out the reports for the committees, work being done within committees is must be compliant to certain rules and regulations. And what we really want to do is ensure that if we are focusing on project-based, more, time-limited efforts or initiatives, that we really leverage these working groups. Now, to date, we've had standing working groups or working groups that have just been there as placeholders for task forces and projects. I challenge us to slowly start working towards just creating working groups as projects are more clearly defined. So one thing I would like to do is to start us off by making a motion and putting a motion forward to create a working group for the Howard County Public School pilot project. And by having a working group for a project like that, I want to also share it should give more flexibility for meetings and collaboration on that group that's not beholden to committee regulations as much. So that is the motion I put forward. Is there a second to that motion? Commissioner Grossman, are you the second?
Yes, I'm seconding.
Great. Is there any discussion about the motion before we take a vote? Oh, Commissioner Grossman, you have the floor.
I guess a point of information. If you've mentioned that you want you want the working groups to become task forces, are you going to come back to those of us who are actually working in working groups and like the interfaith group, which overlaps with this project, but is also involved in other projects? So are we going to become, so will you clarify what happens with some of these undertakings that are more, that have a number of projects under our rubric?
Yeah, happy to. So, and this is open for discussion, but one thought is that as projects become more defined, and only if they're, not evergreen projects, but short-term projects, do they become their own working group. And these working groups are meant to be stood up, but also dissolved. They're not necessarily looking at best practices of other commissions, meant to be evergreen. So other activities that we do within an existing working group, if they have a defined scope, then ideally what we should be doing is setting them up as their own working group.
So would the interfaith, what is currently the interfaith working group, become the interfaith task force? Interfaith programs task force?
And Commissioner Grossman, I want to just hear if others have questions or discussion points first before we go back for second questions. Anybody else have a question or a comment? Oh, Commissioner Gulistan?
Yeah,
You
so
have-
Meena, can you explain the motion to me again? So you know, so so with Howard County Public School System, run through like a working group example with a specific setting to help us all understand better.
Yeah, definitely. So the motion itself is to create a working group for the work that's being done around the Howard County Public Schools pilot. So if the motion were to pass, meetings and efforts around that pilot would be considered the work of the working group, not being brought forward by the committee. And that helps alleviate some of the regulatory and compliance burdens of having quorums at meetings and making them public and other things like that.
Okay.
Commissioner Waffa, you had a comment or a question?
Your last comments essentially touched on it, but Commissioner Gulistan, what the one of the benefits is, like she said, is that, you know, right now I think you guys have been meeting as a part of the committee versus part of a task force or working group. And by creating this, you no longer have to ensure that when you have quorum, you're publishing or posting the meeting at least 7 days in advance, that you are making it public. Those are the requirements. And so this is an opportunity to make it a little bit easier for you to do your work in your small group, you know, currently of a few people. So that's the thought behind that piece.
So I just want to add that we clarified that before with the subcommittee work, we were told that we do not have to go through the quorum. We do not have to post anything as a meeting. That's what we were told for a subcommittee meeting.
And
that's probably maybe the way it's been noted. I think she has it as the what was the subcommittee name?
Health and Education Subcommittee.
Okay, I think it was noted as a standing committee, so maybe there's just some categorization issues. We have to
Yeah,
correct.
because we went, is Dr. Brown still on the call?
Yes.
Yes, and let's make sure to address, you know, let's not have
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
discussion one-on-one, but yeah, Dr. Brown, the floor is yours.
She was correct. The subcommittee was deemed we didn't have to go through the Open Meetings Act, and we went through it. And then we came back and we got the lawyers involved, and they told us that subcommittees and committees, if they're standing, they have to go through open meetings. So one of the suggestions was making sure that working groups were put in place. So those things like we're discussing in this here. So you're absolutely right, but the AG's office came back and said, no, the way we were reading it, it's a line in there that says committees and subcommittees don't have to do it, but it's also the next line says for Senate committees only. That line, so it doesn't apply. Senate confirmed committees only, so that didn't apply to us per se. But here we are rectifying the situation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for clearing that, Dr. Brown. I also didn't know about that path to how we got here a little bit, so that helps clarify it. Now, opening it up to other commissioners who may have a question or a comment before we take a vote. No, and then I want to come back, Commissioner Grossman, to you. I believe you had a second question or comment.
Okay. Yes, in light of all these clarifications, I just want to confirm that the work that Amal and I do as the co-leaders of the Interfaith Programs Working Group is the right title or categorization, because we are basically sort of the thread that touches a lot of different pieces. So I don't know if that's a task force or if that's, or are we okay being the working group or,
And
I don't
Commissioner
know what,
Grossman, since that's slightly a different topic, I think we should circle back to that in old and new business.
and we can do it offline also, if that's a
Yeah,
conversation to have
we'll do it
offline.
offline. Yeah, and I appreciate the point too about the other working groups, because we do also still have to figure out what we do with those, since they're sort of containers of projects. So let's talk offline about that holistically. So let's go back to the vote on the motion to create a working group for the Howard County Public School pilot. All those who agree, I believe we already got the second. So all those who agree, please raise your hand as your A. Okay. I think it is unanimous. Well, I don't see Alyssa. So do we have any nays? And if you could just vocalize a nay, since, okay, Alyssa is also an A. So it's unanimous, so the motion passes.
Oh, you're on mute, Cheryl.
Is this,
Sorry?
which motion is this? Because all of a sudden I heard Howard County into the discussion, but we never really took a vote on having working groups to become task force.
Wait, that wasn't
We
the
had-
motion, sure. That
Huh?
wasn't the motion. They passed the correct word. That wasn't the motion.
Yeah,
Go to
it's
chat.
just-
Okay, I have to take minutes and note this, and it's,
Yeah.
I hate to say, this is so unclear to me at this moment, and I'm just trying to clarify it in my mind. And I mean,
go.
I was writing when I had a first motion from Mona, a second motion from Commissioner Grossman, and it was a motion for working groups to become task force. Then it was all this discussion, and then now I'm hearing a vote for Howard County, something to do with Howard County. So,
and I'm happy to clarify, Cheryl, the
thank
motion,
you.
we're using the terms working groups and task forces interchangeably. So sorry, we'll try to be more consistent with the semantics, but the motion is to create a working group for the Howard County Public School pilot, which is a project that's currently being done within the Education and Health Committee, and we want to make it into its own working group.
And does it still stand with you as the first and Commissioner Grossman as the second?
Correct.
And all was in favor? Okay, that's all I need. Thank you for clarifying.
No
I appreciate
problem.
it.
Yeah. Wonderful. So sorry for that deviation, but I just wanted to call that out, and apologies, because that probably should have been more formally within the agenda to call that into motion. So I'll go back to the correct agenda and we'll hear updates from our working groups. So for our first, the event planning working group, I have Shivani and Alyssa. Whoever would like to give an update has the floor. Alyssa, you have the floor. Commissioner Alyssa Deaver.
he is out of the country, so I don't know if we'll be able to.
Okay. Okay, I think Commissioner Deaver isn't available, and Commissioner Shivani's, oh, there
I'm
you are.
here. I was just having trouble getting my comms to work. So we haven't had much progression since our last meeting either. I would like to find out kind of where I say where we stand. For the next event, I know like for the last event that I worked to assist with, there were some adjustments that were made, and which is totally fine, but just kind of getting an idea from the commission as to really exactly what we as a group want to see. I mean, I know we had the one event last year, but I also need some updates too as to kind of where we're going to go in the future now that we have kind of a reformation. I'm an events person by trade, so I am happy to help put together, whether it's in the format like we did last time, whether it's more in even more of like a festival style opportunity, whether it is for educational purposes, but I just need some additional direction to kind of find out, or maybe you and I can have a one-to-one to get an idea as to what you're also thinking as we move the commission forward.
Thank you, Commissioner Deaver. Yes, we actually have a whole discussion about, the upcoming conversations we've had to date with a commission event. So I'm going to postpone that to that agenda item. Okay, next we have, let me see, which
programs.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sorry, I forgot to ask. Any discussion to Commissioner Deaver?
Yeah, I just want to know, did you decide when the major cultural event will be? Like, is it in the fall? Is it in the spring? Any idea?
I personally do not have an idea right this second. That's where I'm like, fill me back in, because I think for me, I felt a little bit out of the loop recently. And now, like I said, with the reformation, I'm ready to jump back in with, 12 feet, but I just kind of have to know what we're planning to do. Because last time when I'll admit, last time when I went to go assist, I was asked to do a number of things. I did those number of things, but a lot of things got then switched and things that just didn't get utilized. So then it kind of felt like, okay, well, happy to do whatever we need to do, but we all have, like everybody would understand, we all have very busy schedules, very busy lives, and fine to utilize some of the things and not utilize others, but there was a lot of things that were just kind of just not utilized at all. And so I just need to have some additional direction to figure out exactly which direction we're going.
Okay, that's fine. When you decide, just let us know, please. Okay, thanks.
And thank you, Commissioners.
Absolutely.
One thing I want us to do in the upcoming agenda item is for us to discuss it as a group and to somewhat decide as a group, recognizing that last time we had an event, at least from my perspective, it felt like it was a bit of a bigger lift on some people than others. And we really appreciate, Commissioner Deaver and others who jumped in so wholeheartedly. But I definitely want to make it more of a group effort this time around and have more consensus on what we decide to do. Any other questions or comments around event planning? No? Okay. Oh, Dr. Brown, you have the floor.
Yes. If we recall, we did pick a date for our event. It was October the 26th. So we can discuss it later. It was October the 26th. I don't know if that date was going to hold up or we need to change it, but it's in, when you look at one of the meetings, I think it's the May minutes, you'll see that we voted on October 26th to have the date. That was Sunday.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so next we will have an update for interfaith programs, co-chairs Amal and Grossman. Both of you or either one of you can provide an update.
Amal's gonna kick us off and then I'll fill in.
Okay, so we talked about different things, but one of the goals we want to achieve, and I personally hope we will do that, is to create peaceful communication, peaceful communities in Maryland. And we believe that will need more understanding of each other. So one of the action plans is mainly to organize public events to focus on shared values among the three major religions in the Middle East: Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. And we will bring speakers who are mainly religious figures. So it's not really regular people. And in every, let's say, every event will have certain theme, like how, let's say here in this area, in the Eastern Shore, we have the leaders of the three major religions working together to protect the environment. And from them, it's really the motivation is because the religion said so. We need to care about natural resources. It's a God gift. So we really need to appreciate it, not to destroy it. So anyway, we don't have a lot of details, but I'm hoping we can make these events in different counties. Like I can do it in the Eastern Shore. But for example, west of Maryland will need somebody else because it's far away from me. And we, at certain point when we have the details, especially I need to know more about what resources we have. Then I will ask all commissioners to mainly think about it, because all of you will really need to be involved, like depending on where you live, depending on the people you are connected with. Because it's not that easy, by the way, to invite people from three religions to talk about specific things. So that's one thing. This is why I was trying to figure out when the big event, the cultural event will be. The other thing also, when I think about these public events, it's not only to improve the communication and the trust and respect among us, but also will be good advertisement for the commission. Like, let's say if I hold this event through Salisbury University, then I will say, if you agree, of course, it is sponsored by or co-sponsored by the Middle Eastern American Affairs Commission. So this is how people also will know that this commission exists, because many people have no clue what we are doing, actually. Sorry for that. The other thing also, I wrote a certain comment here. I think we overlap maybe with the local engagement inclusion committee, because one of the things also about the public event is the fact that our target audience will be the public. Even people who don't have any religion are invited, because here we are not calling people to convert, but we want everybody in Maryland to have better understanding so we can deal with each other in better way. I think that's it for now. And I will let Rabbi Susan to continue about the other things we try to do.
And obviously this would go to different counties, and the themes would be different, and it would be it's sort of like the three Abrahamic faiths. It would be a rabbi, a priest. This is not a joke, right? The rabbi, the priest, and the imam would come and speak. Hopefully people who are specialists in those themes, whether it's environmental or whether it's love thy neighbor as self, or the version that's in whatever our faith communities have. And they'd meet in colleges or in mosques, or we would work depending on the county where the team is working. So that's project number one. That's in parallel to whatever other public programs are being planned, and they're at much smaller scale, easier to develop, lower cost. And then there's our continued awareness of the legislation that didn't get passed last year, that was co-sponsored by Senator Jared Solomon, and Delegate Sarah Wallach, to establish a January Muslim American Heritage Month and a May Jewish American Heritage Month, which received unanimous support in the Assembly, would have had a unanimous support in the Senate, according to Delegate Wallach. but never got out of committee. And so we don't have to do this right now, but what we would like to do is have the help of Dr. Antoine Brown and maybe Greg and Larry to think through what can we do appropriately to mobilize our communities to help support this legislation. It's going to be submitted again. Mona, our chairman Mona, and myself were the panel witnesses for this legislation. So it wasn't a project of the commission, but we did pass a beautiful letter of support that Vice Chair penned. And so what can we do early in the process once we know that, I guess we're starting to get in a little bit further in the fall to support this, and how can we help further its passage? And its passage would be very helpful in a number of ways, particularly in the kind of work that Dr. Aisha was talking about in terms of raising cultural awareness of our various communities in the public school system, particularly where our Jewish and Muslim students are, or just anyone of Eastern background are getting getting harassed. So or staff and teachers and administrators just don't understand the cultural needs of our children and their own staff and teachers. So so those would be very helpful if we could kind of stand behind and do what we can to help lift this up and get this passed.
Thank you, Commissioner Grossman. Any very brief comments or questions?
I would like to add something I forget to mention. I really would like to call all commissioners to be members of the interface tasking force or group or whatever you will call it. And my hope is that we will have members from the 3 religions. I know that's many people don't like to talk about it, but come on, this is interface group. So you need to show that we do it at least among each other. So I am Muslim and Rabbi Grossman is Jew. So we need Christian. Like, I really hope we will have people from the 3 religions. So when we do some work, when we do certain things, it will be more meaningful if we do the interface among each other. So anyway, I hope we will have members. Thank you.
Do we have any commission? We have staff, obviously, that are Christian. Do we have any commissioners that are, we have a Druze, any commissioners that are Christian?
And perhaps we could follow up with Dr. Brown or offline to figure out recruitment strategy for the working group. Any other comments about the report or the update? Okay, I'm going to proceed. So our chair for partnerships and focus groups, Rafi, is absent today. So I'm going to continue to our working group for strategic communications and legislation. Commissioner Mohammed Khalil, the floor is yours with any updates.
Yeah, Tony and I haven't met in a while, so I think we need to connect again. So sorry, no updates.
No problem. And I'll wrap up with the lead for the Strategic Planning Commission, or not commission, working group, sorry. We also have not met since our last update. And in many ways, we're sort of waiting for this reboot, as Larry mentioned, to revisit the strategic plan. We plan on having a strategic planning meeting in the coming couple months before our next commission meeting. The way the strategic plan is set up right now, I think we're about 50% or so there. And we've shared the way it looks so far with the commission, but I think it's not at 100% yet. So there's work to be done still. And one of my focus areas for understanding better what we want to do with the strategic plan is, having one-on-one meetings with every single commissioner. So that's sort of my area of focus for strategic planning. Any comments or questions about the strategic plan? Nope. Okay. So just as a reminder for those chairs of the working groups, if you could send me brief written email updates and I'll consolidate it into a report to share with Dr. Brown. Dr. Brown, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know we have one new member. If you don't mind resharing the strategic plan so everybody can have it.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Good point taken. I will do that. And Cheryl, you have the floor.
Yes, with sharing, everybody just would have received an email I just sent. I created a working folder for the commission. And it has like subfolders, agendas, events, minutes, policies and procedures, standing committees, working groups. It's a work in progress of uploading data. There is some data in it. Any suggestions you want to give me, let me know. You guys can create folders. You guys can upload information to it. So with, like, you put a link for this thing in the chat of all the committees and that, the spreadsheet, if you want to upload that into this working folder. So we have a centralized working place that everybody can look at, retrieve all information that's happening within the commission. I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention.
And thank you, Cheryl. I just want to call out that I had previously created something very similar. So there looks like there is duplication. So just for ease of, future leadership transitions or anything like that, I'll move everything over to your folders to align with your headers and labels. Just wanted to call that out so the commissioners aren't confused.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I have a question. Shirley, are these in Google Drive?
It's in a Google Drive, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And thank you, Commissioner Ali. I just wanted to reiterate what I said earlier. I know a number of us are not using Google Drive, so we will still continue and try to do this more, send things as PDFs or documents as email attachments as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, wonderful. So moving on, next, we'll have one new business item, planning for our commission celebration. As per what Dr. Brown shared, we spoke in our last commission meeting about having an event scheduled for October 26th. So I propose and make a motion to form a new working group for this event. But first, I want to, and I guess this is where I'm sort of tripping a little bit on the Roberts Rules protocol. I do want a little bit of open discussion because to me, it seems a little strange to have a date without knowing what we're going to do for that date. And so I sort of want to take a step back and open the floor to discussion about, does anybody want to share if they had a concept already for the designated October 26th date that was selected in the last commission meeting? As far as I am aware, there was no concept that was discussed, but I sort of open the floor for clarification.
That's correct. We just landed on a date.
Do we have a location? Because to me, that's step one. It's kind of imperative to have a location and then find out from that location what dates are available before we just select a date, because obviously fall time at even a lot of these colleges are going to have conflicts with homecoming. I know, like, you know, Anne Arundel Community College, Montgomery, I mean, they'll all have different events that are happening. So I know we had talked about, I know the last one was at Howard Community, that may be looking at Montgomery, but making those connections accordingly. But I actually think we need to find the location first and find out what dates are available around that time and then decide on a date. That's just my 2 cents.
And thank you, Commissioner Deaver. And I think, you know, as I've spoken with Larry, Greg, and Dr. Brown and Alette about this, I think, you know, we have a lot of options for venues. As you noted, we have access to community colleges. Just want to call that out for everyone new and old to the commission. We've also heard that we have access to Government House, but that access is usually difficult and usually reserved for, you know, very large events and can often have many date restrictions. And our date happens to fall on a Sunday. So if we were to keep that date, it's highly unlikely that we could use Government House. But one more thing I also wanted to call out is the venue should really match what we want to do for the event. And as I've spoken with the GO-SEE team, there's a number of different events that we could be doing. And it sort of falls into 3 buckets that I just want to share. Buckets of events that commissions have done quite successfully. So there's bucket 1, which is really more celebratory cultural events where we open the commission to the community and just invite community members and have it be an opportunity to celebrate amongst each other, you know, much like the event that we did before. Now, bucket number 2 can be an event that's much more tailored and focused around bringing together stakeholders and influential individuals within faith leaders and nonprofits and even the administration to talk about a particular topic or showcase something. And then bucket number 3 is something that I think as a commission we have not thought before, which is something I wanted to raise, which is the possibility of having our event this year simply be internal and be a retreat for only commission members so that we can all focus on being more unified, having more cohesion, something that wouldn't have official commissioner business, but would be an opportunity for us to simply get to know each other and spend time together. So I think that 3rd bucket is an option that I've only, you know, heard of more recently that I don't think everyone was aware of was sort of an option. So I sort of raised to everybody of those 3 buckets. I'd love to get some feedback on what the commission feels would be most appropriate, because it would be successful if we did any one of those 3. And being that, you know, October is so close to now, we probably can only envision organizing for one of those 3 right now. Commissioner Amar, you raised your hand. You have the floor.
Yes, actually, I'm immediately going to bucket 3. I think this is, we still don't know each other very well. We don't know each other's strengths, each other's weaknesses, what we can bring to the table in terms of organizing events and consulting on strategy and so on. So I really think that we do need to have that event. We need to have that get together, not simply doing a fun activity, but actually a business-like meeting where we introduce each other, our experiences, and talk about what we think our community needs are. I mean, yes, we are not going to talk completely on behalf of our community, but for the future, we can sort of do this outreach. But at least between us, we want to know what we think we can do, why we joined the commission. I think this is very important, and I think if we can have that kind of event, we will understand each other more, and then our dynamics in the commission will improve, and we'll be able to plan more effectively for things and work together more effectively. So I'll move into saying bucket 3 is where I'll vote if there is a vote.
Thank you, Commissioner Amar. Commissioner Alette, you have the floor next.
Yeah, I have the same reaction. You know, when Commissioner Mona brought it up to me, I thought to myself, okay, that sounds like a great idea, because I do think we need to get to know each other better. But I also had a quick clarifying question. You mentioned that we would not do official business, but can we? Is there any restriction to it? Because I do think that if we had time to have a strategy session in addition to building bridges between, like, just getting to know each other, etc., team building, I think that would be incredibly effective.
Thank you for the questioner, Vice Chair Wafa. My understanding to address that question is we would not be able to do official business because we would have a quorum. However, Dr. Brown, please correct me if you know otherwise.
No, that is correct. That will turn into our we call it our SBS meeting, because if we start doing strategy and picking that stuff out, we would have to go, and it'll be in violation of Open Meetings Act. So no official business being there, but the discussion of community, how things are run, introduction, getting to know each other, those things can be discussed, because we're not making any decisions on what we want to do. It's just hey, get to know you, and these are the lay of the land or best practices type meeting.
Thank you for clarifying, Dr. Brown. Commissioner Gulistan, your hand was raised, but then it went down. If you have a question, the floor is yours.
The question was just answered by Dr. Brown. I just wanted to see if we could do official business in those settings. Thank you.
Any other feedback, comments, or questions?
I have a question. Okay. I'm trying to learn what kind of resources we have. And you mentioned something, I just want to make sure I got it right. You said we have access to community colleges. Is this because they are nice and we know people there? Or is it because we are a commission and we have the right to make events in public universities, for example? Which one?
It's the latter, Commissioner Ali. So,
really?
Yeah, community. Well, of course, that it doesn't mean that our events can be made on any date we want. We still have to comply to availability restrictions and things like that. But as far as I understand it, again, I'll let Dr. Brown clarify if I'm incorrect, but community colleges are budgeted within state budget, so we can use them, I believe, without a fee or a nominal fee. Dr. Brown, please feel free to clarify.
No, that's correct. It's budgeted. We can't pay them twice. So yes, it's budgeted in, but we have to abide by their vacancies and things like that. So it's got to get there available.
This is great news. I'm so happy because what happened mainly, I got community leaders who wanted to make event. I am the director of the Urban and Regional Planning Program, so I can do any event related to planning. This is why I wanted to start our public event with how the 3 religions perceive natural resources, because it's still planning, but become from religious point of view motivation. But anyway, so that means I am, as a commissioner, if there is any event I believe it can serve us, and I will tell the commission, of course, get your approval, then I have the right to go to SU and tell them the commission want to hold the event and just negotiate the date. Is that true?
No, unfortunately not. So, and this actually raises a good
But
point.
SU is public university. It's public.
So this raises a good point, Commissioner Ali. So first and foremost, anything we do as a commission has to be something that we bring and support through committee, and that we wouldn't have otherwise done outside of this commission. So, you know, to an extent, absolutely, there may be overlaps between things that you do professionally or things that are strengths of yours, or things that you're doing that you're knowledgeable out that you bring to the commission. I just want us to be careful that, you know, this is not a blank slate for us to be able to use venues that, you know, for events or activities that aren't originated through the commission.
No, I agree with you completely. By the way, I maybe I misrepresent my case. Okay, because I am the director of the planning and the advisor for the Smart Growth Club, I can do anything related to planning and the environment. This is how I was talking about the event. However, if we will do culture, for example, it's not my area. But in the same time, we can say how the three religion, like one of these public events, perceive the right of minority groups. That's more of culture thing. But because it's not my area, my title at SU, I cannot go and say, yeah, give me the room, I will reserve it. So my question is, if we have an event like that and they came to the commission and you approve it, will I have the right to go to SU and say, this, we would like to have this meeting, let's negotiate the like the day and time? Like, I will not do anything without telling you. Like, it's not really a secret meeting. But
and for clarifying like details about specifically the venue rental requirements, I recommend, you know, we could follow up, Dr. Brown and I, and get more details about that, because I know.
No, I know it. At SU, it will be, if it is a big room, will be like around 500.
And I just want to make sure everyone gets opportunity to comment. So I'm going to go to Commissioner Grossman, who hasn't commented yet about the event structure.
Thank you. I just want to clarify what Amal is communicating. So when we do I know we have to vote on this, and we should probably make a more organized and printed out and submitted proposal. But the kickoff event for this interfaith series would begin with a part. You know, we're allowed to, we want to. And we're encouraged to find local community partners, just as we had a community partner with Howard Community College for our event last year. So coincidentally, we're able to partner with Salisbury and the environmental department because there's an overlap of interests. So this would be a commission. This would be a commission program, and we would have co-sponsors, and that's sort of what we've been charged with from the very beginning, is to find co-sponsors in general and co-sponsors in particular for any programs that we want to run. So I want us to think kind of in that. And so what we're trying to do is think strategically about where do we have opportunities to partner in local communities in ways that there are populations that want to hear what we are interested in offering. And so we would shape the interfaith theme around a presenting issue in that community. So in Salisbury, it might be environment. In Baltimore, and I was thinking of reaching out to the Coptic priest, Egyptian Coptic priest who wanted to work with us but wasn't available for our event last time. Maybe we would be talking about poverty or homelessness and our interfaith, you know, things. So that's, I just wanted to reframe what Amal, I hope Amal, you feel like I'm representing this correctly. So it shouldn't be seen, shouldn't be misunderstood. And we can take this offline if you think that's more helpful, Mona.
You really clarified very well, but what is the thing is, it's completely different because, for example, the commission can agree on a theme, because if we have the right to go and hold this event in any public university, that means as a commission, we can agree what is the topic we want to do and just to duplicate it in different region in Maryland.
And to clarify, Commissioner Ali, it's community colleges.
Okay.
Not any public university. And I want to shelve any conversation about venues or about events specifically for the Interfaith Working Group. Are there any other comments or points of feedback related to, you know, as we're thinking about this larger flagship event that we currently have scheduled for October 26th? Oh, good night, Commissioner. Good night.
I just have a thought and a comment. I think the retreat idea is great. I think it's a great opportunity for all of us, especially for me, since I'm new, you know, to get to know everybody, and so that we can see who we are, how the chemistry and electricity works for our shared values and shared objectives. But I also feel like there's not much time. That we need to get to the people in a public event to get them to know us too, and for us to know them. And I'm thinking maybe it's too ambitious, but maybe October 26th we do a public event, but maybe a little bit later or maybe sooner we do a retreat. And that was my thought. I think both are very important.
Thank you, Commissioner Ganai. Yes, I definitely think that, you know, both are important. In fact, all three buckets we spoke about are important. And one of the best practices we've heard from other commissions is that they usually do like a series of events within a single month. And, you know, they may do a retreat that's separate from a Heritage Month series of events. And I definitely do think that is ultimately what we want to do. And I think the question potentially is, in what order of priority, which one of those do we feel most prepared to do first? Any other questions or feedback on this topic? And we can also, of course, have more offline discussion about it. I don't think there's a particular motion yet we want to bring forward on this topic, it sounds like.
I just have one other idea that had come on the table, but Commissioner Meaa and I had talked about it, but it was before we knew about the retreat option as well. But, you know, another thing to think about is the last time we had sort of a collective one big presentation, and it was a series of different performances, etc. But another idea was like having a big hall and having different tables for different Middle Eastern countries that are represented in the state of Maryland, and sharing about culture and food from those different areas. Maybe not the immediate next event. I think that would take a lot of coordination, but it might be a great idea down the line.
That's a good idea.
Any other comments or questions from Commissioners Athar, Ronnie, or Alyssa?
No, thank you.
Oh, hi. So at this point in time, I'm hearing that there's potentially a need for more discussion about this. So the motion I do want to put forward is to create a working group for this event. Now, we could, you know, just use the event planning working group and focus it around this October 26th date. But I didn't know if everyone who is part of event planning is already interested And if more people wanted to be involved in particular with this event, ideally, I think we should have much more participation in the event planning working group, just because there's a lot of coordination. And I think we want to sort of nail down a concept as soon as possible. So when I look at the event planning working group today, it's only inclusive of Commissioners Shivani, Alyssa, and Athar. So I sort of pose this as a question to you, Commissioner Alyssa. I think probably—
The more the merrier.
Yeah.
I think we just need to, I mean, here's the thing. I know last time, and again, where the difficulty came in, it was, hey, do this, but then we're not going to go ahead with this, or we're going to move this. And so there was just a few logistical pieces. I think really at the end of the day, we want to have as many voices to be able to give the input to make the strongest event possible, where people can have different assignments on those specific items that we're looking to facilitate. But we also just want to make sure that the direction that we're going to go in when we start putting those items together, that we continue with what that looks like and not pivot at the last second. And I think that's one of the most important things as we go into this next event.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Commissioner Alyssa. Okay, well then I guess the walking away point on this one is, let's take this discussion offline among the event planning working group. But as it stands right now, the event planning working group is rather thin and not a full or even strong representation of the entire commission. So if folks could, please raise your hand if you want to be involved in deciding this upcoming event. Commissioner Ganai, you have the floor.
I want to be a part of that working group.
Okay, I know you're not on Google, so I can add you to the list as well.
Okay, thanks.
And I will be sending out the spreadsheet after this meeting, so folks who don't have access to Google Drive can, just email me and I can make updates to any of the Google Docs. Okay, wonderful. I'm gonna close that agenda item unless there's any last remarks or comments that folks want heard. Okay, is there any old business to bring forward? Oh, Alette, are you talking? You're on mute.
I was saying Dr. Brown raised his hand.
Oh, okay. Dr. Brown, you have the floor.
No, I just wanted to remind the commission, when you're having your working group meetings, let me know so I can just listen in, because if I hear anything that triggers, I can immediately get you the resource as sort. So if you haven't, and I know in some of our groups we're already talking, but if you have an official meeting or a planned session, or you want to discuss something, my phone is open, my email is open. Just let me know. I'll try my best to make it there. That way you can have up to date GOSI side, administration side, as you have in some of these discussions.
Great. And then Commissioner Amar,
Yes.
you have the floor.
Actually, I just want to, an old business, we can see something that materialized and we sort of stopped it for a while. I had a conversation as part of the partnerships, basically initiative, with the conductor of the Annapolis Symphony Orchestra. And they were very interested in doing some cultural event, a symphonic play or a series of smaller events, basically centered on Middle Eastern themes and music and so on. So a way of getting together in this way. Now, because of the way the orchestra sort of arranges a year ahead of time their work, we are not talking about this year, we're talking about next year, basically. So we've had several conversations with Jose Luis Novo, the maestro, the conductor of the symphony orchestra in Annapolis, and he was very interested, very welcoming. In fact, we even tried to do a smaller event that we were planning for September, and Chairman Tharwat at the time was part of the conversation. I think Athar also attended a meeting, and but now that that Chair Tharwat is out, I think the idea of doing something in September probably is too late for that. But I want people to be involved with me in the conversation so we can do more follow-up. The problem is I started this, there is a lot of interests, but I'm not a logistics guy. The next step, someone who will push with with Jose Luis Novo and his assistant, so we can sort of like hone in on a date, on an event. I want someone else to be involved in the conversation, so we can, the idea can materialize faster.
Thank you, Commissioner Amar. Commissioner Grossman, are you volunteering yourself?
Not yet, but maybe. I love working with Amar. I guess my question would be, is it possible? And I think Alyssa's still on. I don't know if anyone's interested. I mean, October's probably too soon. Also, we're talking about next year. But that sounds like a great. I was enthusiastic about last year, and maybe we can. I know we want to think about this year, but maybe we can also think about next year at the same time, and then we're not scrambling in the fall.
Exactly.
And I think it would be dynamite. And if we do move forward with it, I'm not that far from Annapolis, as long as I don't have to drive down there except for the show. But I'm happy to help think that through.
Yeah, but we're getting ready to play.
I personally, I think that's definitely the way to go. I mean, any of the things that I try to work on, I work on a year out. So I think that personally, I think having kind of like the retreat together to get to know each other, because I know like I couldn't come because my child was in their last performance on Sunday. So unfortunately, I couldn't come see everybody. And then the last time I was out of town. But if we had a retreat where we can really get to know each other better, part of the reason personally I feel like I've been a little bit out of the loop is I still don't know everybody. And then be able to, I know we can't discuss official business while we're there, but we might be able to like kind of come up with some dates that don't conflict with anybody's holidays. I mean, that's, loose business, to kind of take a look so that we can, look at what that will formulate for next year. And it gives us a lot more time to get those folks that can maybe donate money and participate in different ways and more publicity time. So yeah, fully on board with that.
Okay. And thank you, Commissioner Deaver. Dr. Brown, you have the floor.
Yeah, and then also that's a good idea because Executive Director Walker wants us to focus on Maryland 250. 250 is next year, and maybe we can theme it around that, and that can be our cultural and our introduction to doing something, because he wants every Ethics Commission to do a celebration around Maryland 250 next year. So maybe we can look into how we tie it in and doing it around the orchestras.
Yeah, I think this is really great idea, and I think this is why we need to have sort of like a group of us be part of the conversation, so we can begin scheduling the specific type of event we want to have. We know the interest is there. It's a musical event, so we will need to look at what kind of musical talent we have in Maryland who are from Middle Eastern background, what kind of people we can bring, so there is enough time for fundraising as well for this event. So we need to have that conversation. It needs to be well structured, and more people should be involved in it. But we know the interest is real. We know Jose Luis is on board with that, and he has worked on Middle Eastern issues before, so he is very interested in this event. So the sooner we can move in and structure that conversation, and we have some time, we don't need to rush. That's the great things about it, but we do need to move in specific steps in order to be able to get something done by the celebration of the 250 years. So it's important to move. So we have time, but we also need to move quickly.
Thank you, Commissioner Amar. Is not to sort of push your hand on this, but do you want to make a motion to turn this into a focused working group?
Yes, actually, yeah, I would like to make that motion very much.
Okay. Then you have to present it as
Exactly. I will write it down and I'll present it, send it to you for the next meeting if you want.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it should be structured, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
Do you need a formal motion, Commissioner Mona, maybe to create a working group is what you're saying for Maryland 250?
Yes, and
Okay.
we need a formal motion to create the working group, but that does not prohibit Commissioner Amar and others getting together and starting to talk, formulating a bit of a plan, which I definitely encourage you do, so that we can get the ball rolling. And so any other commissioners who have not yet spoke on this topic who want to make a comment? No? Okay. In the absence of any other comments, I can return to second comments to Commissioner Grossman.
No, I would just say in that motion that we want to narrow that charge, that we're creating this working group in light of the 250 celebration that would explore the Annapolis, having a celebratory event in concert with the Annapolis Symphony.
exactly. It has to be that narrow so we can focus on
So
it.
that's
Otherwise we'll be lost in the
right. So that's the language. That's our language. If that works for you, Amar.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Wonderful.
Cheryl,
So-
do you need me to repeat that for the vote? Or no?
Oh, there is no, Commissioner Grossman, there's no motion that's been put forward.
I will sort of like do a paragraph so the next time when we vote on it, we'll have a clarity on exactly what we're voting on.
Wonderful. Thank you, Commissioner Amar. So now for our last item of business, and I know this is, we don't have much time for open discussion. We've only got a few minutes left, but prior to this meeting, I did send out a note to the commission to ask if there were any items top of mind that you were hearing among community members, among your counties or areas or spheres of influence that you wanted to discuss. And the one open discussion item that was raised is HR 1, commonly referred to as the big, beautiful bill. So we now open the floor for discussion. This is the only topic on the table is HR 1. So commissioners may share thoughts, or what I highly recommend is raise items for discussion in our future agenda. So I open the floor for open discussion on HR 1.
Yeah.
So Commissioner Amar, you have the floor.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually very important because a lot of what we hear about is that there's going to be a lot of people losing their health care. And I think this will have an impact on all the communities, all ethnic communities, but for sure it's going to have an impact on the Middle Eastern community. I think one of the major issues is that those of us who have sort of like the state-sponsored plan where you apply, you get a federal grant, that is going to disappear. So that means that our insurance plan is going to get far more expensive than they are right now. And the question is there something that the state can do or plan to do to offset this kind of situation? And or can we propose something? Or can we have a conversation at least with more experts in the field who can tell us what we can do in order to deal with that eventuality? Because it seems to be unstoppable right now. And we are going to all have to face a raise or fee for our health insurance. So what can we do? What kind of conversation can we have? What kind of expert we can bring? What is the government or the governor of Maryland planning to do about it? Is there anything that can be done to help us offset the rising costs?
Thank you, Commissioner Amar. Any other thoughts or agenda items to discuss related to how HR 1 affects Marylanders?
Other issues? Is that the question?
Either issues you've heard or things top of mind that you think may rise to an issue. Oh, Commissioner Grossman, you have the floor.
Well, there are two other issues. One is that we have so many people that are out of work that were government workers, and that you have a major impact on education budgets. And three, I just heard today that there's some changes in AI chat boxes that are controlling, that are eliminating any searches for inclusion, diversity, things like that, equity. So I don't know how that affects us in Maryland or what even capacity we have to deal with that. But there certainly is on the local level. There's so many people, suffering right now, and it'll get much worse in the next couple of months as after September, as people's some of them were put on paychecks, so they have paychecks through to September, and now there's gonna be just tremendous struggles in every county of the state. So.
Thank you, Commissioner Grossman. Yeah, sort of to add to that, just in terms of Montgomery County and the town I live in, we have like an overweight proportion of people who used to work at USAID, and I would say probably at least a quarter or more of our town residents are currently unemployed. And I know this is something that, we should probably all know already, but, Dr. Brown, I think one of the things that it raises for me is, I believe you've previously shared some workforce development and employment resources that the governor's administration shares publicly. And I was wondering if following this meeting, you could point us to where to find those.
Absolutely, Jen.
Any other comments or just even thoughts? This can be things that we want to communicate back or topics we want to discuss further in a future meeting related to this. Okay. Well, as there's no other topics or comments on HR 1 and no further business, I'm going to ask a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I raise a motion to adjourn.
Okay. I saw Commissioner Ganai second. It has been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous. So the motion carries. This meeting is adjourned as of 8:01 p.m. Eastern time. Sorry, we went 1 minute over, 2 minutes actually. It's 8:02 right now. Thank you all for humoring me in my first meeting. Hopefully it'll get more smooth as we go along. I really appreciate each and every one of you, and have a lovely evening.
Great job, Mona.
Yeah, well done. Well done. Have
Well
a nice
done.
evening, everyone.
Well done.
Bye all.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.
Good job.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye.